So, guys, I figured I would start off this episode with the best way to start off any podcast, and that's with a little shameless corporate shilling. Isn't that exciting?
I will not bow to any sponsor.
Well, I work for this sponsor, so I kind of have to bow down.
I will bow to some sponsors.
So, as I've kind of alluded to on past episodes of this podcast, I'm an assistant at a production company. And the company I work for, we just put out a horror movie. And it's on Netflix right now, and you should definitely check it out. It's called The Old Ways.
As opposed to the new ways.
As opposed to the new ways. I'll just give you a little log line here from IMDb. So the premise is about a woman named Christina. She's a journalist of Mexican origin. She travels to her ancestral home in Veracruz to investigate a story of sorcery and healing. There, she is kidnapped by a group of locals who claim that she has the devil inside her. So that's the basic setup for the film. It was made completely in-house on our soundstage. Obviously, I can't review that. That would be a conflict of interest, and my name is actually in the credits. It's literally the last name at the end of the special thanks section, so which I was not expecting. No, please check out The Old Ways. It was trending #1 in the horror genre on Netflix a couple days ago. I'm not sure where it is right now, so please give it a watch. A lot of love was made into that movie. Again, big congrats to the whole team that worked on that at Soapbox, director Chris Allender, writer Marcos Gabriel. It looks fantastic, and it's a really fun watch, so I hope you guys check it out. That is The Old Ways on Netflix. Corporate shilling ended. All right, so welcome.
Hey, sorry. So the corporate shilling has ended, but we're going to shill for a lot of people. So you might want to take some notes when you listen to this episode. Because we might have some sites for you to visit.
Yeah, this episode is just going to be called The Shilling.
Yeah, we might as well. 100%. It's like ads for upcoming shit. I mean, it's not ads like we're getting paid for it. We're doing it all for free, but whatever.
Yeah. Welcome to Another Miserable Podcast, Horror Decomposed. My name is Zach. Joining me, as always, the two coolest professors in horror and other things that they actually teach. Professor Casey.
Hello.
How's it going, Professor Casey?
So I'm awake, I guess.
Are you?
Yeah, mostly. I've got like a list of stuff to talk about, so I'm pretty excited, you know. Yeah, just a little bummed because con we were going to got canceled, but at least we get to talk about the last one we went to.
We do, yeah. That was definitely a bummer. And also with us, making his triumphant return, the Criterion one, Chris Pistol, who's also a professor.
I teach film appreciation.
We appreciate you, Chris.
Yes, we do.
Thank you. We
appreciate you joining us this week to talk about a con that you weren't able to go to with us.
But I'll totally pretend I did.
And the totally not haunted apartment that Chris just moved into.
Yo, I just saw a ghost.
I'm just looking at Chris's webcam, and it just looks like a shot from like The Haunting of Hill House or something. It's very Mike Flanagan.
It's like Zach looks like he's in a fucking blanket fort, and
he does.
I look like
you look like you're in hell, Casey.
My shelf, yeah, I've got the red light on, and plus my shelves got kind of decimated. I bumped into my shelves a little bit and knocked everything off, so now I gotta like put them all back up, which is a pain in the fucking ass.
You look like you're in the hell from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
That one was pretty cool. You had like the floating rock things.
Say hi to William Sadler for me.
Maybe.
Hi.
So, we have a feature scare for you today. Casey's also going to talk a little bit about Shang-Chi. We have some physical media madness. That was my really terrible Macho Man Randy Savage impression. That was really terrible. That will never happen again.
That sounded like Macho Man Savage when he has a cold and he's laying in bed.
That's exactly what I was going for. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about the convention we went to, Awaken the Spirits, last month. Or no, was it this month? No, last month. Yeah, it was in August. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, give some shout outs, and yeah, that'll be our episode. So let's get to it. Our feature scare today is Candyman.
Candyman.
Don't say it 5
with
times.
love and makes the
Candyman,
world taste
Candyman.
good.
Candyman.
I loved that was in like the intro of this movie. They
Oh yeah, me and my fiance, because we watched the trailer, and then she was like, "Isn't there like a kids Candyman song?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's from Willy Wonka." And she was like, "Yeah, I think I remember that." And I played it on YouTube for her, and then we just were singing that for the rest of the day.
We've played it on this show, in fact.
Willy Wonka, a much creepier movie, possibly.
And then we were the only ones like hysterically
tunnel
laughing
scene, yeah.
at the very beginning when they started playing that song.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Just the tunnel scene, Zach. He fucking murders like 8 children.
He doesn't murder them. They murdered themselves.
Grandpa Joe almost gets hacked to death in a fan.
Yeah, he does.
That's
Grandpa
all because
Joe
they're not
and
following
Charlie.
the rules. They're not following the rules. If they just follow Mr. Wonka through the factory,
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is that it's Saw because those people aren't following the rules of the game, so they die.
Don't drink out of someone's chocolate river. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean-
Keep to your own chocolate river.
I mean, if I had a chocolate factory and someone stole my candy, I'd probably murder them too.
Don't stand on a little pedestal that weighs good eggs and bad eggs that falls down a chute to your demise. Like a garbage disposal chute.
That girl was dumb, yeah.
Yeah. And don't eat gum when Mr. Wonka tells you not to eat gum. That's going to turn you into a big fat blueberry.
Stop, don't, come back.
See, he tried to stop her.
And then don't be a
But,
little
yeah.
shit that wants to be famous and like jumps into like front of a shrinking ray. Like they all deserved it.
Nah, see, okay, now this is what we got to talk about, plausible deniability in the eyes of the law, but I'd rather you talked about Candyman.
First, we have to talk about, I think, the honeybee in the room. I was trying to think of something, but well, that would
That works. That works.
Well, Casey, you didn't see this because you didn't want to, because you don't like Candyman. What's going on? Why don't you like
No,
Candyman?
I just, like, if I'm going to risk my life to go to a movie theater, I'm going to see a movie I've been waiting, like, 30 years to get made, so I'm going to see
that's fair.
Shang-Chi instead. But yeah, we'll get into that. I'm a big fan of the characters, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I totally misinterpreted this. Your uninterest as you just didn't like Candyman. So that was
No, I liked the first
this out.
one. I mean, Farewell to the Flesh exists, and yeah. Farewell to the Flesh
I've only seen the
exists.
first one. I haven't seen the sequels.
I've only seen the first one. This new one is a sequel, but the initial direct were they direct to video or were those in theaters?
No, they
were
were in
direct-to-video.
theaters.
Yeah, I
Really?
didn't see either
Shit.
of those.
Yeah. Farewell to
Yeah.
the Flesh was in theaters for sure.
Yeah, well, if you're thinking, oh, this movie seems like a soft reboot, you are 100% correct. It is completely a soft reboot in every sense of the word. Has the exact same title as the original. Is technically a sequel to the original, though I don't think you have to see the original to like this one or get this one.
It does directly tie into the original. One of the
And you should
characters,
see- you
a couple
should
of the
see the
characters from the original
original.
appear in this. Yeah, the original's
The
great.
original's a good movie.
Yeah.
I just rewatched that. So you kind of compare and contrast them a bit. So, directed
I rewatched it. I rewatched it a year ago when this trailer first dropped because I was like, "Oh, the new Candyman's coming out soon. I'm going to rewatch the old one." And then a year and some change goes by.
So Candyman 2021 is directed by Nia DaCosta, also co-written by her, along with Jordan Peele and Wynn Rosenfeld, who worked on the Twilight Zone series with Jordan Peele. So, and you can certainly see Jordan Peele's kind of imprint on this a bit, but I think most of the credit here, and rightfully so, should go to Nia DaCosta. She really did a great job. The Candyman character has always been a symbol of racial injustice, and she does a really good job expanding on that kind of idea and theme here. It's maybe a bit heavy-handed, but I think kind of necessarily so, because that's kind of what Candyman is about. So, here, whereas in the original, Candyman was Tony Todd's character, and, he was kind of the image of racial injustice. Here, it's more about how Candyman is like every victim of racial injustice, and Candyman can be any of them. So, as a result, you don't get much Tony Todd, which is unfortunate. That was my main issue with the movie, is I just wanted more Tony Todd. But I also get why that he wasn't in it as much. So,
Well, I didn't think he was going to be in this at all, which I don't know. I feel like it's a minor spoiler saying that he is in it. So minor spoilers there, but
Is it really though? It's Candyman. He is. If anyone's synonymous with Candyman, it's Tony Todd.
well, I didn't look up any of the advertisements other than the few trailers that they put out for this, and he's not in any of the trailers. So I just kind of assumed, they were moving on without him. But I mean, he's Candyman. I mean, he's iconically Candyman, but I don't know if he's as iconically Candyman as necessarily like.
I guess I was tipped that he was in it because, like, I think the one like kind of spoiler review I saw really was not enough Tony Todd, which was true.
Yeah.
I mean, what were your basic thoughts, or what were your general thoughts on this, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, you praised the direction, and I think that's really warranted. I think the direction in this is super strong. I think it's interesting that the original Candyman really kind of centers on a white main character, and it kind of, that in and of itself sort of highlights how, the themes of basically like this white person coming into a black neighborhood and sort of imposing their own sort of, criticisms and ideal of it, and taking advantage. She's literally taking advantage of these people's culture for her own like thesis or graduate thesis. And this is much more centered on an African American character, to see the sort of these ghostly injustice effects on the African American culture and society. So yeah, the direction here I think is my favorite aspect of it. It's just really well paced. There's just some great sequences of suspense, and it's really beautifully shot too. I think that was another thing I really was appreciating through the whole thing. There's this theme of being an artist, and the main character is sort of a pretentious struggling artist who is struggling to create like a new series of paintings, and everyone is basically being super critical of his work, which I think it's funny when they start to fucking get killed off. But it almost had like this great sort of commentary on modern art, and it's all political and shitty kind of system of commerce, and Candyman just kind of coming in and fucking killing and destroying
certainly
that.
A lot about gentrification for sure.
Oh,
which is
yeah,
a big,
absolutely.
huge theme of the Candyman series.
But if we want to go into mild spoilers, because what I'm seeing a lot from people is that they really appreciated the first half of this movie, and it kind of fell off for the second half. But I'll let you go ahead and give your thoughts, what you thought.
Yeah, well, to me, it really felt like the Candyman meets the Fly. That's kind of the direction they took the story, which was cool. I enjoyed that element of it. I thought the cast was really fantastic. I really liked everybody. The lead, who I'm totally going to butcher his name, so I am so sorry, man. So he played Anthony McCoy. The actor's name is Yaha Abdul Mateen II. I am so sorry. I'm sure I said that horribly.
It was a good try.
He is great. So he plays this artist, and his girlfriend is an art gallery director named Brianna. She's played by Teona Paris.
Which, if you're an art gallery director, you should never date an artist. Mistake number one.
Yeah, conflict of interest. Coleman Domingo is also in this. He plays someone that's from Cabrini Green, that kind of area where Candyman, the origin of Candyman. And so, yeah, it's about this artist who his girlfriend's brother kind of tells him the legend of Helen Lyle, who is Virginia Madsen's character from the original Candyman. And so he hears about that. He goes to explore Cabrini Green to kind of get inspiration for his art. And that's where he meets William Burke's character, who tells him about Candyman, or Coleman Domingo's character, William Burke, who tells him about Candyman. And so he paints this piece, he puts it in this gallery, and like the critic there is a total bitch. She doesn't get it.
I think she's the exact same critic from Birdman.
Pretty much. But yeah, it really starts to take on elements of The Fly. Anthony is bit by a bee, and that's all I'll say.
Stung by a bee.
Stung by a bee. Yes, I should say stung. Yeah, I think... I don't think the pacing was off, because it's you would expect like this to be like 2 hours, but the original is about like an hour. The original is only like an hour and 40 minutes, I think. So it's on pace with that, maybe a little shorter. I felt like the scares don't. It's more like about the bloodshed than like the scares. It's not really.
Yeah.
Compared to the original, which really has this kind of moody kind of ambience to it.
The original fucked me up as a child. Like, there's something really like nihilistic and almost like depressing about the original.
I was gonna say, you see Candyman, the figure of Candyman, a lot in this movie, but you do in the original as well. But it's also you're seeing Tony Todd, who is just scary.
Yeah.
He's so scary in that role, and the actor that's portraying one of the Candyman, I guess I should say, version of Candyman in this he doesn't have that same presence as Tony Todd. And you're not hearing in the original. You hear like Tony Todd's narration throughout a lot of it. He's talking to Virginia Madsen's character. It's almost like Hannibal Lecter kind of, and trying to get inside her. And that aspect isn't here. It's more about kind of Anthony sort of transforming, and so it's the scares. I felt like one of the things I think compared to the original that is really lacking is the score, because the score in the original is fantastic. It's by Philip Glass. It's really like punctuates every like moment in that movie.
Yeah.
And the scares in this aren't really like punctuated very well. I felt like they're kind of, there's like a scene where Candyman comes and like kills somebody, and then the guy that's with her is like, oh shit, like it's funny, but like there's like a lack of tension there.
It feels more Scream at times than
it
Candyman.
does. But I do
in case you made a ugh face.
And the climax is just a little rushed to me, but I do like where they ended it, and I certainly think they got their message across, and I generally enjoyed it. What was your like final rating, Chris?
I think I was feeling just really generous and kind of jazzed, just because I was super entertained by this for the most part, and I just really liked the overall sort of vibe of it. Maybe I just hadn't seen a really good horror movie in a while, so I gave it a 4 out of 5 just because I really had fun with it.
You surprised me.
Your points though I think are completely valid. That the original does have much more of a disturbing feel to it that stays with you. I remember just being really just kind of just disturbed by it as a kid, because it's really like, it's a horror movie about someone who's a ghost who is essentially killing people, but there's also just kind of the added horror of the fact that Helen is like framed for all of his murders, and her life is just being slowly torn apart by this, to the point where she fucking dies, and just like nothing good happens by the end of that movie. It's just complete misery, which kind of, I think traumatized me slightly as a child when I first saw it. But I did still have fun with this a lot, and I can see where some people are also kind of feeling mixed on the second half of the movie, because it does kind of take a little bit of a turn into Twistville, and I think maybe we can talk spoilers a little bit at this point.
Yeah.
But essentially, first we learned that the main character, and Casey, I don't know if you want to hear spoilers, or you don't give a shit. Okay, don't give a shit. Our main character turns out to be the baby from the original Candyman that goes missing, that Candyman steals, and then
I really thought that was a clever connection. I like that twist.
Yeah, you kind of, or at least if you've seen the original, you're gonna realize it as soon as you see who his mother is. It's the same actress from the first Candyman.
Yeah, I didn't. It'd been a while since I'd seen the original Candyman. I just rewatched it, so I didn't recognize her.
Oh yeah, she was so distinct. I as soon as I saw her, I was like, I gasped out loud, and my fiance was like, "What?" It's like, oh, that's right, you haven't seen the original.
No, it was really great to see her. That's Vanessa Esther Williams, I believe is her name.
Yeah. Well, that's our first twist. Our second twist is that the seemingly cool old guy from Cabrini Green who tells our main character the story turns out to be a fucking crazy guy who is held determined on continuing the story of Candyman, or at least it's a little confusing as to
he wants
what his deal is.
Candyman to be more like a symbol of like vengeance.
Yeah.
Rather than just like a symbol of like the victims of racial injustice. He wants Candyman to be someone that seeks vengeance upon everybody, that perpetuates racial violence, and
he essentially wants Candyman to continue. So he tries to basically fucking what kind of threw me off is that the guy our main character gets stung by a bee at the beginning of the movie, and his hand starts to deteriorate, and it gets really fucking gross. And so you think at some point a hook is just gonna like fucking spring out of that
would have been cool,
hand.
but no, that's not exactly
but no, the dude just like fucking hacks it off, and then sticks the the hook in there, sort of, forcing the Candyman story to continue. But I did like that aspect of this movie. That's maybe my favorite aspect of it, is that at the beginning you kind of were told a completely different story, origin story of Candyman, and you think, oh, well, how is this gonna like connect to the original if it's a completely different origin story? And then you realize that there are multiple Candyman, or at least multiple legends of Candyman, that all sort of continue with the same story, with the same theme.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it does not go the Tetsuya the Iron Man route with the hook shooting, just like jutting out of his.
Or
that would've
a
been cool,
less
though.
obscure reference, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
But yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, yeah, that would have been awesome.
But it certainly has elements of both of those in this movie. It's it's that same sort of along with The Fly. It's
But I thought the last like 5 minutes of this movie were fucking awesome and really stuck the landing. So
no, I like them. Yeah, my rating was 3.5 out of 5 stars. I dug it. I thought it was generally well done, even though some bits of it, like some like narrative structure, maybe I don't know, pacing's the right word, but some things just felt like maybe they had to cut back on a few scenes that they could have expanded upon. They could have, I think some shots could have hung a little longer. Scares could have been punctuated a little bit more. I wanted to feel more of that dread, and the original is such a haunting movie. It has just that wonderful piano kind of music from Philip Glass, and so that was what I was missing. But I still really dug it. But it's been interesting to see the reaction. Some like young 20-somethings walked out of the theater, and I overheard one of them saying, "Oh man, that was really really bad," and I was like, "I didn't think so." But
you fucking.
they were probably like 20 years old, man. I mean, I don't
you
know.
can't judge anything, but
And I'm sure they hadn't seen the original, but that was Candyman. I really liked it. I'm certainly one of the better horror releases of the year so far, so we'll see where it ends up on our final rankings later this year. But go out and see it. It's great. Support female directors. Nea DaCosta is fantastic. I'd love to see, because we're two white dudes. This is a movie about racial injustice. I'd love to see what how it resonated with a victim of racial injustice. Those that kind of violence is perpetuated against a person of color, obviously. So
don't just take our word for it.
Yeah. So there's tons of wonderful podcasts from Black Voices, and so I highly recommend going out to listen to their podcast and hear their opinions on it. I know the Nightlight podcast on Bloody Disgusting, Pod Mortem is another one. Definitely go seek their voices out. They're fantastic podcasts. So yeah.
Yeah. Stay away from
So
the candy.
I saw something completely different because I was pretty stoked for Shang-Chi, dude. Okay, so I've been a Marvel Comics fan like my whole life, and I've always like looked for older comics than what was currently coming out. And one of the big ones was Master of Kung Fu, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. It's all Shang-Chi, okay? And he actually started off as a pretty racist character. He himself was a clone of Bruce Lee. His dad was Fu Manchu, which is like, oof. And eventually they moved away with that, not in an attempt to be like less racially insensitive towards Asian people. They just lost the rights to Fu Manchu in the comics. So they created this other character that ended up being his dad, and kind of getting retconned into being his dad the whole time. The movie separates it even more to kind of fit into the MCU. And watching this movie, the characters come a long way, and into being from what was kind of like a kind of iffy pastiche to a character on his own that's a positive role model for the Asian American community, and had a great film. There are a lot of changes in this film from some of the stuff in the comics. If you're reading more current Shang-Chi, it's a little more in line with that version of the character. But the changes made were to better tie it into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is something I love. If you're not a fan of Marvel movies, you might still like this if you like kung fu movies, if you like martial arts action, if you like the mythical side of East Asian culture. Could be some good stuff. So, I was really stoked to see this movie, which is why I saw it instead of Candyman. Big fan of the character. It opens strong. We get a great action scenes, most of which is in the trailer. This big fight on a bus that you've probably seen clips of. The rest of the movie does not disappoint along those lines. Awkwafina plays Shang-Chi's sort of sidekick throughout the movie. And she's pretty hilarious.
She's great. She's great.
You'll either love her character or hate her character. If you don't like her character, you're not going to like the rest of the movie pretty much. But because she's in it a lot.
I'm a big fan of Awkwafina's rap music. Side note.
Her Comedy Central show, Awkwafina is Nora from Queens, is pretty funny.
Yeah,
too, from what I've seen
also
of it,
on HBO Max if you want to catch up on the first season of that. Hilarious show. But yeah, and she was great in that Disney Dragon movie. She's been in a lot of stuff lately. But yeah, this movie is freaking awesome. So you start with kind of like a little bit of grounded martial arts action, and then things progressively get more mystical as the movie moves forward. And eventually you're in this Shangri-La like city with all kinds of monsters and dragons and foo dogs and like all kinds of stuff happening. It's really, really cool. The action doesn't disappoint. You actually grow to like the characters. I see a lot of people comparing this to Black Panther very favorably. I would actually say they're pretty equal as far as quality. Doctor Strange was probably my favorite of these movies before this one, and now this is like duking it out for favorite in my eyes. And it's great. I gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd. Look at that.
You did.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was pretty into it, I guess. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I forgot I gave it 5 instead of 4, but you know what? The 5 stands. It was really good, and I can't wait to see more of these characters. And judging from the mid and post-credit scenes, we're going to see a lot of these characters soon. So
here's a question. I'm behind. I still haven't seen Falcon and Winter Soldier or Loki. I really want to watch Loki, but I need to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier first, apparently. So I'm kind of
no. This isn't like Black Widow where it ties in with the
I was wondering if there are any references to either of those shows that you need to see before you watch.
No.
Okay, good. All right, sweet.
Black
I
Widow
watched the
though,
first
yes.
episode of Falcon and I dropped out.
So you need to see Black Widow before Shang-Chi is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying you need to see the shows before you see Black Widow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Shang-Chi, no. But yeah, this one you could actually go in fresh, only having a little bit of MCU knowledge, as long as you know who some of the characters are and that you've seen Doctor Strange. That's important also. But you should see Doctor Strange because Doctor Strange is fucking dope. But yeah, I know we don't really do a lot of comic movies on here, but hey, it's got monsters, man. I think you should see it. And yeah, I can't recommend it enough. It kind of sucks it's not on Disney Plus, so people that don't feel like going to theaters can see it. But after the big stink that happened with Black Widow,
I was gonna say, is that because Scarlett Johansson sued Disney? Is that why we're not seeing this on Disney Plus right now?
Probably. Not that I think that Simu Lee would do that. Okay, so I think that this actor's like nicer about stuff like that and wouldn't have done that anyway. But this is where it is. Okay, so you can only see it in theaters right now. I know that kind of sucks.
They don't have Scarlett Johansson's white woman privilege. Is that what you mean?
Possibly. And I don't know. Scarlett's on the way out anyway. It's like, who cares?
Yeah, she has nothing to lose at this point.
She doesn't. She's not at the like beginning of her Marvel Universe career. She's at the end of it, so she can throw the lawsuits out. But I gotta say, loved like every character in this movie, beginning to end. Was completely enthralled. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes. I usually think that's bullshit and hate it, but I didn't look at my watch once, and that's the sign of a great movie. So, especially with the comic book movies sometime. Yeah, I know there's been like 30 of these. I've seen them all in the theater except for Thor 2. No, except for Iron Man 2. They both suck, but yeah. I don't love all of them, but this one I definitely did. So yeah, check it out. 5 stars, Letterboxd, apparently.
It must be a sign of the effect that COVID has had on my ability to keep up with just movies in general, but I think it has had this effect on everybody. But I had not seen a trailer for this until the other day.
Oh, wow.
I had no awareness of this movie coming out at all. I think about a week ago, people started talking about it, and I was like, "Wait, is this a new show? Is this a new movie?"
So what happened is it got like really delayed. So there were a bunch of trailers like months ago, and toys have already come and gone from the stores pretty much.
Yeah, that's another thing. People are forgetting about these movies because the trailers fucking dropped. I think that had an effect on Candyman as well. The fact that the trailers fucking dropped over a year ago. And people just forget.
Yeah, and we're about 3 series behind in the Marvel Legends figures for Shang-Chi. There's still like the toys for kids in the stores right now, but the toys for collectors, they're already like 3 series back. So those kind of got buried. Like, but also they kind of don't look like the character. Like the figure that's supposed to be Aquafina, I had no idea that was her until I saw the movie.
I haven't seen her figure in stores, I don't think. Or maybe I haven't.
Okay, yeah, you probably have, because she was in Target a lot. So she's Katie. So if you see Katie...
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Yeah, because...
I'll look out for that.
Yeah, she was in a lot of stores.
I mean, awesome that she got a figure, for sure.
Oh, yeah, she's like a badass in the movie, though. Like, she deserves one, for sure. I'm a little sad that we didn't get figures of some of the people crossing over from other Marvel properties, though. That's all I'll say. But there's a pretty big one that comic nerds will lose their mind over. That's all I'll say.
And that's all I'll say.
I'm still I can't get over that Spider-Man trailer, man. I am so stoked for that film.
So yeah, those toys are hitting the shelves now. So if you want them, get them now, because they're going to be gone by the time the movie comes out, because everything's getting delayed.
Hello, Peter.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good.
I'm just stoked for it.
I hate the digital de-aging, though, so much. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't mind it. If it gives us this, I'm cool.
I don't mind it
so
when
weird.
It's not... digital aging is worse. Like the Peggy Carter digital aging was disgusting and horrifying.
Well, any kind of digital aging, especially when you just know what that actor looks like, you know what that character looks like so well, it's just jarring every single time.
I want a Bruce Campbell cameo in this movie too.
I feel like they did okay digital de-aging in Captain Marvel on Samuel L. Jackson, but that's about it. Like that's the only one that has looked good so far.
Yeah, I agree on that.
But that's because Samuel L. Jackson looks great for his age too. Like that's like part of it.
Yeah, I just want like Tom Holland Spider-Man to like stumble into like an old like an indie wrestling promotion, and it just Tobey Maguire is like just doing the human spider game.
Okay, well, you know what, Zach?
That's what he's been doing for the last 20 years.
You've given me a transition because Bonesaw is ready for some physical media madness. Yeah. Okay, perfect transition.
I totally set that up.
Perfect transition.
There have been a ton of Blu-ray and 4K releases.
I actually do have one to talk about now.
You do have one to talk about. Okay, good.
I gotta show you guys this. We gotta mention this real quick.
Yeah, there's definitely a few that I'm really excited about that I want to talk about. So, do you want to go first,
Yes,
Casey?
I got it in my fucking hands, Zach. Unlike the imaginary ones you're talking about that aren't out yet. Okay, so I picked up Hyper Agent Gridman, a Mill Creek release. Okay, so everyone's like, what the fuck is that? If you ever saw Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, featuring one of the lesser Lawrence brothers as a Power Ranger-like hero, it's the Japanese show that they used for the footage for that. So it's the Zhu Rangers to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. And, you know, when I watched Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad back when it was originally out, I thought, man, this show looks like shit, but I bet the Japanese show is awesome. And after getting to see some of the episodes of the Japanese show, Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad was an improvement. This show fucking sucks. But like in the best way possible. This is like the things of Sentai heroes, man. Like, ooh, it's brutal to watch. It really is. And you don't get Tim Curry as the bad guy, but it's the same bad guy. He's just not Tim Curry's voice. But yeah, really not good, but I recommend it to see how bad it is because it is worse than Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. That show was garbage. Like, way below Power Rangers level garbage. And Power Rangers, a lot of that stuff looked like shit, right? But there's layers of shit, and this is at the bottom layer of shit. But I say that it's worth checking out for that reason. But also some cool monster designs. Like, there's some cool fighting in suits. Gridman uses a lot more wrestling moves than most of the Power Rangers. Also, it's got a kick-ass theme song. I want y'all to look it up. Basically, this is the way it goes. Gridman! Baby Dan Dan! Baby Dan Dan! Gridman! Okay, that's it. That's my review.
Thank you for those melodic notes, Casey.
Baby Dan Dan! Baby Dan Dan!
So, yeah, a couple of my favorite horror movies of the last decade are getting brand new Blu-ray releases, and I'm really excited.
Hell yeah, The Gallows. And
no,
I can't think of one worse than The Gallows. I'm sorry.
So Krampus, the Naughty Cut Collector's Edition from Scream Factory.
Yeah, you
coming
see
out this November.
You see his balls.
It's a $36.99.
It's gonna be naughty.
So it's a 4K Blu-ray release. The cool thing about this is, see, I already have Krampus on Blu-ray, but this is like an extended cut. So apparently, I'll just read the blurb. The Naughty Cut restores key dialogue and scenes that had to be trimmed from the original theatrical release in order to appease the MPAA, those bastards. Supervised by filmmaker Michael Dougherty, this is the definitive version of the holiday cult classic for the entire family to enjoy.
Yeah.
Also comes with an exclusive 18 by 24 poster while supplies last, and extras are also in progress and will be announced at a later date. I'm really excited about this.
So we clearly put fucks back in the movie, but it's fun for the whole family.
Exactly.
Krampus is one of my favorite horror movies of the 2010s. Big fan of Mike
Great
Dougherty.
movie, yeah, great
so
dude too.
I'm really excited to get this. The artwork for this film, for this release, is so cool. So definitely check that out. It's on Scream Factory. Again, $36.99. There's a few other titles I noted on Scream Factory that are on pre-order right now as well. So I just figured I'd mention those briefly. We're getting a Deadly Friend Collector's Edition Blu-ray. Also comes with a poster and extra. That's $28.43. For those of you that don't know Deadly Friend, you probably know the gif of someone throwing a basketball at the woman from the Goonies' head and it exploding to smithereens. Yeah.
I definitely know that gif.
Great gif. Dracula Dead and Love It is also coming to Dracula Dead and Loving It is also coming to Blu-ray. I think it's the first time.
Yeah, which is interesting because the Dracula Blu-ray from Universal has a commentary from the director of Dead and Loving It.
Yeah.
But there was no Dead and Loving It to go with it.
Weird. Yeah. But it's great that it's finally coming to Blu-ray. $23.98 for that. I don't think there's a poster with that one. And then also
you'll be able to see all of the cheap sets in full.
Yes, and before
I love that movie, but it is the cheapest looking movie.
Before Zach goes on, because we haven't mentioned it, Universal is also doing 4K releases of the good Universal monsters. So they're doing they're doing Dracula, Frankenstein, the Invisible Man, and the Wolfman. No mummies there. I see what you did, Universal.
They really did. I was like, was Casey in charge of this decision? Because they just totally screwed the mummy.
Honestly, if I was in charge, it would have been Creature and not the Invisible Man. But, you know, he's a little too mummy adjacent.
Invisible Man movies are great, though, dude.
Yeah, but that movie's like 60 minutes long, and you know the whole story already. That's the problem.
It's still entertaining.
Yeah, it is. Claude Rains is the shit. Fun Rains is great.
I'm hoping this means that the regular Blu-ray collection will go down in price,
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
since I don't have a 4K player.
One more from Scream Factory before I move on to the next thing I'm really excited about. Elvira's Haunted Hills is getting a 4K restoration. That's $28.43. It comes with a signed poster while supplies last.
Which are probably gone by the time you've heard this. Yes.
They might not be.
Zach, I would say they're gone by the time we're recording this. This is Elvira we're talking about.
Well, Krampus the Naughty Cut is still, like, the posters are still available because I need to pre-order it still. But that is still available. So, yeah, super cool stuff from Scream Factory. Love Scream Factory. The next thing that I am really psyched about, WNUF Halloween Special is finally coming to Blu-ray. This is from TerraVision, who are mainly known for their vinyl soundtracks, but it's being distributed by Vinegar Syndrome.
My dudes.
Yes. There is a limited edition slipcover that is so awesome looking. It basically looks like an old like VHS tape with like a label on it. There's like a little Sharpie on it that says like crap tape test first, which is great. It's like in Halloween colors. It's great. I bought this immediately. I'm such a fan of WNUF Halloween Special. It has all the extras from the DVD. So deleted scenes. There's like a feature that shows you how they de-age the tape to get it to look the way it does. There's a really great commentary from Chris LaMartina, but there is a brand new commentary with Chris LaMartina and the entire cast and crew, or most of the cast and crew, which is awesome. There's also a promo for something called the WNUF Christmas Special, which is, I think, something he put out to get while they were getting funding for the WNUF sequel, which I'm really stoked about as well. There's some more long-lost commercials that were cut from the movie. So I'm really excited about this. The slipcover edition is $39.98. If you see this, Chris, have you looked it up?
I have, yeah. I saw it on Dawn of the Discs.
It looks so cool.
Get the slipcover. If this sounds like even a little good to you, buy it or you won't be able to get the slipcover again. Those are limited edition.
Yeah.
You'd have to get.
I misquoted the price. So the original price is $39.98. It's currently, as I'm talking, on sale for $27.99, and the regular edition is $24.99. But get the slipcover edition.
Yeah.
Okay,
you
buying
don't
this
want to
right
get the bitch version like Zach did with Spookies. You know.
That's what was there, man.
Well, because the one I got sold out. I have the slipcover of Spookies, and no, you cannot have it.
And if you just go ahead, Chris.
I was just gonna say the only way this could be any better is if they released it with an actual VHS version of the film too. I would appreciate.
You used to be able to get that.
Yeah. I was looking like I should get that VHS, but it's probably on eBay somewhere. Anyway, I imagine this is. I don't know what the release date is for this, but I imagine it's coming out in time for Halloween this year. I would think.
Yeah, the Vinegar Syndrome also has been announcing some interesting films. And as much as I love Vinegar Syndrome, I just want to tell you, do not, no matter how good it looks on their website, under any circumstances, order the Trauma film Girls' School Screamers. It is terrible, and you have been warned. Don't buy it.
And an update, this ships on September 28th, so just in time for Halloween. This is the guys. If you have not seen this movie, it's the perfect thing to put on at a
We're never going to get sponsored by
I'm
Vinegar.
It is so
pre-ordering
good.
right now.
I can tell you, I have done that before. Put it on at a Halloween party, and a bunch of people were entranced by it and just wanted to know more about it. So, definitely pick this up. It's fantastic, and look forward to the new film they put out last year, which I talked about. Was on my top 5 movies of top 5 horror films that I saw last year. It's supposed to have some release date this year. That is called, I cannot remember the name, but look for. It's a horror anthology from Chris LaMartina and Jimmy
Have
George.
like shadows in
really
the
great.
title, something like that.
I'm looking it up right now. I'm going to edit this out because I should know. What Happens Next will scare you.
Okay.
What Happens Next will scare you. Stay tuned for that. I'm sure it's going to get a Shudder release or something sometime soon. It's
way
great.
off in my guess of what the title was.
And if you can't, I also wanted to mention, if you can't get enough WNUF Halloween Special, there's going to be a bunch of cool extra merchandise that is being released by the store Poltergeists and Paramours. There's a WNUF t-shirt that has Dr. Bloodwrench, Frank Stewart, and the mummy from the kind of fake made-for-TV movie called Sarcophagus that's featured in WNUF Halloween Special. Looks great.
They
There's
had to
also gonna
ruin
be
it.
a WNUF. Of course, there's a WNUF trick or treat bag. There's a WNUF pumpkin scooper. There's a harvest button, which is like the anti-Halloween group. So that's going to be available on September 13th. I think it's all in like one giant group. I don't know if you can buy anything individually, but
Yeah,
maybe you
man,
can.
I feel like they're missing the boat on like WNUF crew merchandise, like a crew hat for like a cameraman or something.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just ripping off something that the Ninja Turtles did with April O'Neil's new
I
station.
kind of want that trick or treat bag though. But that's going to be coming out on September 13th. So yeah.
Okay, so I've got a lot of shirts and sites and stuff to talk about. We gonna go there next?
Okay. No, I'm not. So I had to mention this. Arrow Films is releasing Phantom of the Mall: Eric's Revenge, a limited edition 2-disc set. You can pre-order this in the U.S. from Diabolique DVD for $32.99 or on a site called Zavi for $34.99. It's also going to be available for pre-order, the U.S. version, on Grindhouse Video. It's also, you can see it on Amazon, but right now the pre-order price there is $49.95, which I think is the original listing price. Don't pre-order it from Amazon.
No, Zavi's got good prices on a lot of their stuff right now,
Yeah.
so they're worth looking
I'm
at.
not that familiar with Zavi, but it seemed like a cool site. But yeah, this is crazy to me that Phantom of the Mall: Eric's Revenge is getting a 2-disc set. But the first disc is the theatrical cut of the movie, which is 90 minutes. It has 2 separate commentaries. One of them is with the director, and the other is with like the disc producer and a film historian. There's a making of Phantom of the Mall documentary, and there's also an interview with Joe Escalante of the Vandals, who made the film's theme song. This is really extensive. There's alternate and deleted scenes, and the second disc includes a 2K restoration of the TV cut, which was 89 minutes long, as well as a fan cut, which combines the TV cut and the theatrical cut for the ultimate Phantom of the Mall experience, end quote. And that's 96 minutes. I'm just amazed that this much has gone into a Phantom of the Mall release. So applause to you, Arrow Films. That's ridiculous. So yeah, lots of cool stuff is coming out. One thing I'll mention, just because it looks cool, even though I don't know most of the horror movies on this that I know Casey knows about, there's a big Blu-ray set coming out from Severin called All the Haunts Be Ours. It's a compendium of folk horror. You might be interested in this, Chris. I haven't heard of like any of the movies on this set.
They go for around the world, so there's like Icelandic folk horror in there and stuff like that.
If you're a big fan of like Hereditary, you're probably gonna want to check out this set. The artwork is really beautiful. It's like $170.
Yeah, let's talk about that price again. There's like 12 movies in here, and it's only $170 for Blu-ray. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, some of these films, Eyes of Fire, I'm seeing something called Lepchikirika. I butchered that. Witch Hammer.
I feel
cool.
bad for Severance, so please buy this from them. Because they had Drop Dead Fred, and then they lost the rights somehow, and now they can't put it out.
Lake of the Dead, The Dreaming. So these are movies from Australia, from like the 80s, the 70s, something from Iceland. Lake of the Dead is from Norway, from the late 50s. Something called V from the late 60s. Witch Hammers from the early 70s. So, yeah, just a lot of cool. If you want to check out some foreign folk horror, check this out. The set looks great. It's going to look awesome on your shelf.
Yeah, it also has Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched, a history of folk horror documentaries included in that, and that's supposed to be amazing. It also has Eyes of Fire in it, which people are just stoked for that alone. You can buy that one by itself. You can buy the documentary by itself also. But yeah, from what I've seen of Eyes of Fire, it looks dope as fuck. I've never seen this movie though, but it looks cool. You can see stills and stuff on the Severin site.
Okay, so that was Physical Media Madness. We had a long segment of Physical Media Madness today, but there was a lot to talk about. But Casey, we did go to a horror convention last month called Awaken the Spirits, and we want to give shout outs to the people that we talked to. So last week, last episode, we mentioned Play It by Fear, where we bought a bunch of Kevin and I bought a bunch of awesome Blu-rays, like The Last Starfighter and Spookies. So definitely check out Played by Fear again. But Casey, you have a whole list of people.
So while Kevin and Zach were digging through that, I went across the way and I went to Discount Cemetery. So all of these that I name, if you just go to discountcemetery.com, you're gonna get to the site. Maybe throw a Google search in, look for some Instagram. But yeah, Discount Cemetery. I went into their thing and I got a brain scan shirt. Anyone that sells a brain scan shirt is good in my book. It warms my heart. warms my heart. They also had "Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead" shirts, which are pretty amazing. So check them out. I got a pretty sick book bag on there that says "Horror Business" on it also. So yeah, check these guys out. That's Discount Cemetery. Also, I got a really cool monster shirt from Love, Pain, and Stitches is the company. So it's a group of monsters. It's got like a creature. It's got a vampire. It's got a Frankenstein's monster. It's a big, nice group shot. They were sharing their booth, and the person that actually sold me the shirt was from Baby Fangs, babyfangs.com. They make awesome kind of like horror occult themed jewelry. Definitely worth checking out. Also, I went to there was this kind of like art company that made shirts and stickers and all kinds of stuff called Monster Posse. Their stuff is great. I got an awesome sticker of Paul Bearer holding a jack-o'-lantern with the Undertaker symbol carved in it. It made me say, "Oh, yes!" I loved it. I
want to be in a Monster Posse.
Well, enunciate. Just be sure on that one. Okay.
Monster Posse.
Yeah, be sure. Somebody might mishear you, and there might be some society shit going on.
I'll stick with the Monster Club just to be safe.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Also,
but check out Monster Posse.
Yeah, their stuff's great. Just remember to type it in correctly. No guarantees what typing that wrong may bring you on the internet. Okay, so Dream Warriors pin. I got a pin that was a group shot of all the Dream Warriors together, and that's from Knee High Horror. Really cool pin. Dude, Dream Warriors is my jam. I love it. Also, there's this company, Abysmal. They do comics. They do film. They had a booth, and I bought some comics from them. Abysmal Comics. I was the first sale of the day because we got in early because of our VIP passes. So the dude hooked me up with a cool shirt too. That's the Abysmal Film Club, and it looks like the Misfits Fiend Club shirt, but he's wearing like 3D glasses. It's really dope. I will wear it with love and joy in my heart. The comics are pretty cool. I got a very ultra limited edition blood red chromium cover of Myths from the Abyss. It's a horror anthology. The one I got is number 27 out of 50. I love rare comics and shit, so that's the way to go there too. Got a couple of anthologies of theirs also that were in trade paperback form. Really good stuff. I did not get any of their movies. I'm curious to, because their comics have some really cool story ideas. So check them out. That's Abysmal. We also saw our friends at Nightmare Toys. I said, what's up to them? Because we were just in their store, and I'm like, hey, dude, we just talked about you on our podcast. Check us out. So hopefully you listened and heard that episode. If not, hopefully you're listening now. What's up? Your store's awesome, and we keep telling people to go there whenever they're in Vegas.
You guys rock.
Yeah, trust me, dude. All my wrestling people were in Vegas like last week, and I'm like, dude, go to Nightmare Toys no matter what. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. It was a great convention. I'm a little saddened that Monsterpalooza has been canceled. Son of Monsterpalooza. So there will not be another Monsterpalooza until next year.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
I gotta bitch a little bit, Zach. I didn't think they did the best business the way that they went about announcing it.
No, I would agree.
So Chris, here's what happened, okay? See if you agree that this is kind of bad business. We're just, minding our own business, all of us that have ordered tickets, and we get all these emails, hey, your ticket's been refunded. No other explanation, nothing. Your ticket's refunded. So we're just like, oh, what the fuck? None of us asked for refunds. What's going on? And it took them like another hour to actually announce that the con was canceled. Maybe do the announcement first and then start refunding people. It's just a little bit better there, okay?
It's just a weird, they were advertising it 3 days ago on Instagram, announced a person that was going to be there. And so it's just weird that it just came out of, Delta's been a thing for a while. Obviously, I'm all about taking precautions, wearing masks, get vaccinated.
I'd rather they not get locked. Okay, so the Marriott, It was at the Marriott in Burbank. Marriott is notorious for fucking people out of their fees. Last year when COVID hit, there were a lot of cons planned, and people lost tens of thousands of dollars not being able to get their money back for the venue because it was canceled. not far enough in advance. So if that's what they had to do to get out of their deposit for the Marriott, I'm fine with it. Look, I want Monsterpalooza to last forever. I absolutely love those guys.
Yeah.
There's another convention next week that's not canceled, the PowerCon, the He-Man convention. Kevin and I were going to go, and we're just kind of like, fuck it now. We don't really want to go. And we can't get money back for our tickets. Basically, it's because we pre-ordered toys, and they're not going to be there because they're stuck in shipping somewhere. And so we kind of don't want to go because their COVID policies aren't great. They're like, oh, we're not going to do the vaccination card thing because we expect less people than... Because I guess there's like a cutoff number to where you have to do the vaccination card thing. And they're
really?
like, yeah, we expect less people, so we're not going to do the vaccination card thing. So we're kind of like, what the fuck? It's like, dude, the guy who voiced Skeletor is like 92 years old. Maybe you should fucking protect him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, because Son of Monsterpalooza was going to be proof of vaccination is required,
Yes.
and then also masks are required,
Yes.
which seemed pretty safe.
Yeah.
But it is a smaller convention center compared to the Pasadena Convention Center where Awaken the Spirits was held.
And where
so
Monsterpalooza will be held next year.
I will give, I have one bit more business card that I picked up at Awaken the Spirits. It's an artist named Steve Graziani. You can check out his website. It's Graz Arts, Grazarts. He has some really cool etchings and block prints. I'm pretty sure our friend Byron bought a piece of his. They're really cool.
Oh, yeah,
I think they're-
the skull piece that Byron bought. Yeah, his art is freaking awesome.
Yeah, if you go to like etchings and prints and click on a year or something, you'll see some of his stuff. It's really cool. Or really great stuff. I think it's about $38. You just write him if you're interested in a piece. So definitely check out his work. And yeah, we don't really have, I guess, a Don't Cross the Streams today. I've been watching more TV lately, but What We Do in the Shadows just came back on. Still my favorite show on
Yeah,
TV.
dude.
It's great. If you haven't seen the spin-off show, Wellington Paranormal, that's fun as well. The accents
Yeah, I
are a
definitely
little
wanna-
thick.
I definitely want to check that one out for sure. That one looks hilarious.
You can watch it with subtitles, but I've been able to follow it fine. It's really
I
mainly like
watch
the
it.
female.
I watch it with subtitles just in case. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great though. It's really funny, so I highly recommend that as well. And not horror, but also really good. Only Murders in the Building with Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez on Hulu. It's great.
Yeah, I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes of that, and
Yeah,
Is it as
I mean,
good
what
as
fun.
Selena Gomez's cooking show on HBO Max? Show's
Did not know that was a
tremendous.
thing.
She doesn't know what she's doing and just fucks up stuff all the time. It's great. That's like the premise of the show, though. It's amazing.
that's funny. She's really good on Only Murders in the Building. So yeah, definitely check that out. If you're a true crime fan, you will definitely want to watch that show because it's all about true crime podcasts. So, all right. Any closing words today, boys?
Yeah, check out Video Night by Adam Caesar. I'll have a full review eventually when I finish it, but you will absolutely love this book. I can't recommend it enough.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice. He did Clown in the Cornfield. Right?
Absolutely.
Chris, anything on your end, man? What's new? How's the new apartment?
Don't go to cornfields because there's clowns there.
Oh God, is that a ghost behind you, Chris? Oh God!
Listen, the walls are painted a darker color, so it feels darker. It's also a cloudy day outside, so
Oh, I wish. It's 108 degrees here today, Chris. Yeah. Probably
I'm good. No, thank
within
you.
an hour or two. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I guess we should plug our social media before I forget. So you can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/AMPHorror, or just look up Another Miserable Podcast. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube at Another Miserable Podcast. And you can follow my lovely co-hosts here. Casey, where can they find you?
They can find me at Lucha Gringo on Twitter and Letterboxd. Woo! And PlayStation Network. I'll crush your dreams.
Chris, where can they find you?
Letterboxd and Twitter, just with Chris Pistol, Chris with a K and Pistol with a E. I totally pre-ordered the WNUF Blu-ray while you guys were talking about con stuff.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. You can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Earth2Zach. That's Earth, the number 2, Zach, Z-A-K. Also on Letterboxd at Earth2Zach, and Instagram as well. Make sure to, if you enjoy our show, please consider leaving us a nice review on Apple Podcasts or whatever streaming service you listen to us on. We would super appreciate it. I know I say that like every episode, but I really sincerely mean that. It would really help us out. So And most importantly, I need to tweet this on Twitter a bit more because it's not in our bio. But if you have any suggestions for us, any topics you want to talk about, any movies you'd like to see us cover, commentaries, we might bring commentaries back sometimes.
Hey, give me some horror book suggestions.
I hope so.
You know?
I like doing commentaries.
Commentaries will definitely come back in some form or another. I'm just figuring out the best way to do that. So, but
soon
we
as
will
I
be
make
bringing
them.
We'll do a
commentaries back.
commentary for the Bates haunting. How about that?
We will definitely do some commentaries before the year's over. I guarantee you that. But please write us anothermiserablepodcast at gmail.com. If you have a movie or a project you'd like us to promote, please let us know.
If I mentioned your company name and fucked it up somehow, email us and I'll fix it next time. Yeah.
If you're interested in coming on for an interview, we would love to talk to you. So please, if you have something cool, horror related to tell us about, anything to suggest, please, we'd love to hear from you guys. We love interacting with you guys. So please write us anothermiserablepodcast at gmail.com. All right, that's going to wrap things up for us today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe. Fall is just around the corner. It is the best time of the year. So go to your local Target, your local Walmart. Look for Monster cereal if you're on the East Coast.
Maybe avoid Spirit Halloween because it fucking sucked. I went to 2 of them and they were garbage.
The Spirit Halloween is slacking this year on the West Coast because it still isn't open in Burbank.
No, these ones are open but shouldn't be because half the shit's not there yet. It's like, come on. Where's my fucking Grip Keeper animatronic? You have a picture of him on the wall. Where is the animatronic?
The Target Halloween section is bare. We went last
Do you have Monster Mash cereal in Arkansas yet? Because we don't have it here yet.
I don't think so.
There's a nice display at most Targets. Those of you California people listening, I got some Frankenberry. I got some Chocula. I passed on Ghostbusters cereal and I passed on Captain Crunch because I'm waiting for Monster Mash. There's actually an empty space in the shelf where the Monster Mash is supposed to go even in more than one store. So I'm just waiting to see that filled, to fill the emptiness that is also in my heart. It's not, that shelf is a fucking euphemism for my heart right now.
And I keep passing on the delicious looking Dunkin' Donuts
And I meant
cereals because
metaphor,
I'm like,
not euphemism.
if I'm going to get an unhealthy cereal, I'm going to get Monster Mash cereal, not Dunkin' Donuts cereal. But it looks really good.
Dude, I'm already almost done with a family-sized Chocula, and it's been like, what, a week? Maybe 2?
I did see pumpkin spiced Twinkies, which looks great.
Yeah,
So
they're pretty good. I've had them before. Yeah, they're pretty delicious.
All right. Also, shout out to Dinosaur Dracula. He just started his Halloween countdown. It's always fantastic and one of the best parts of this
he's
year
one of
for
the
me,
reasons we podcast. So if you don't like our show, fucking blame Matt. Okay.
But yeah, check out his YouTube page and everything. He just did like a little Halloween countdown. His usual kind of bag of Halloween junk. They're great. So definitely check that out.
I've been following his Halloween. Hold on. I've been following his Halloween countdowns for like 20 years now. You need to be watching and looking at his site daily to see what he comes up with. I can't recommend it enough. One of my favorite things of the Halloween season. And so go ahead, Zach.
No, I was going to say we should end this before my co-hosts get more agitated with me.
Yeah, it's cool. Let's end it so that I don't shit my pants while we're recording. No, that's a joke. I'm not going to really poop. It's just a running gag with the show because sometimes I have to after the show. It just happens.
Oh my gosh. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next time. Stay spooky.
Bye.